Okay, so I'm going to go through and help you out with two of the problems from your homework. I'm going to look at one from each type, one where when we use completing the square, everything simplifies down to two integer values, and then one where when we go through and we complete the square, we do not end up with the perfect square as we're going through. So I'm going to start, right, it's page 579. I'm going to look at 16 and 17. So if we start with number 16, we have a squared minus 2a minus 35 equals 0. Okay, so if we look at this problem, this is currently not set up in the appropriate form for completing the square, right? We need it to have 1 here, our bx here, and then not our c here. So that's the piece that we're missing. So we said we would move that by using the inverse operation and getting it to the other side. So a squared minus 2a equals 35. Okay, we are now in the correct format. So we're going to find b, which is negative 2. We take half of that, which is negative 1. We then square that, which is positive 1. So we are going to add 1 to each side of our equal sign. Okay, so 35 plus 1 gives us 36. On our left-hand side over here, right, we're going to factor that. And we said it always factors into a binomial squared, where we have our variable, we have our exponent of 2, and our middle number is what we're filling in here. So our middle number from this list, so that's going to be negative 1. Okay, we are then going to square root each side. Right, the square root and the exponent of 2 cancel each other out. So we get a minus 1 equals, we added the square root, so the square root of 36 is not just 6, but plus or minus 6. We're then going to solve. So we'll undo subtracting 1 by adding 1. So we have two options here that we need to consider. We have a positive 6 plus 1, and we have a negative 6 plus 1. Okay, so 6 plus 1 is 7, and negative 6 plus 1 is a negative 5. So for number 16, our correct answer is a equals 7 and negative 5. Number 17 says m squared plus 12n plus 19 equals 0. This is also not in the correct format. Okay, so to get this in the correct format, we're going to subtract 19 from each side. Okay, so b is 12. Half of that is 6. Squared is 36. So we're going to add 36 to each side. 36, 26, 16. So we'll get a 17. Over here, we're going to factor. Okay, we know that this is always going to be our binomial squared, where the piece that we use in the in here is from the middle, so that's a positive 6. We are then going to square root each side. Now, I know the instructions tell you to round, but again, I told you not to round. We want exact answers. So this is going to be plus or minus the square root of 17. This is something that can't be simplified any further, right? If we prime factor 17, there's nothing we can do. So we'll subtract 6. So we will have m equals plus or minus the square root of 17 minus 6.